Do wealthy people in America pay their fair share of taxes? That's what I'm thinking about. Hey, before we jump into taking a look at some tax data, I want to remind people to hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, help other people find this content, and you can punch at that like button as well so we can spread the word about what we're talking about here on What I'm Thinking. And with that, let's jump into some tax analysis. I had read something in the fall from Brian Wesbury. He's from First Trust, puts out some good information, and it caught my eye, saved it, thought it was really interesting. And then later in the year, I think it was in December, there was a Wall Street Journal article that had some updated figures. They're all about exactly the same. So I'll put links to both Brian's information and the Wall Street Journal article. They both reference the Tax Foundation, which every year puts together some data, breaks down tax returns and puts together data on it. I'll put a link to that Tax Foundation. You can actually find that raw data online. It's pretty interesting to take a look at. But I wanted to share with you Brian Wesbury's summary. He's got some really nice graphs that make it easy to see. The first thing I'll pull up here is at the top of the page, we've got the tax rates, the average federal tax rates in the different categories, bottom 50% on the left, and moving our way up to towards the top 1% on the right. And the one thing in looking at this is that we talk about the U.S. Having and should have a progressive tax system. As your income goes up, so as we move to the right on that graph, the tax rate goes up. And you take a look at the people kind of from the middle, the middle on over. What is that? 25, the bottom 75% of people, their tax rate is less than half of what the people up in the top 1% are paying. Again, tax rates aren't tax dollars, so it's not to tell the entire story, but we do have a progressive tax system, and rich people are paying a higher percentage of their income in taxes, in addition to paying higher taxes. And let's talk about higher taxes down here on the bottom of this chart. And the orange bars here, that's the share of federal income tax paid, and then blue is the share of federal adjusted gross income. All right, again, so bottom 50% on the left, top on the right. One of the things that catches my eye is you take a look at the top 10% over here on the right-hand side, those orange bars, 10 plus 20 plus 45, over 75% of taxes paid, share of taxes, are paid by the top 10% of taxpayers. And if you add up the blue bars, they have about 50% of the income. And on the bottom, on the left hand, the bottom 90% of folks, if you start at that 10%, the bottom 90% of people, of taxpayers, are paying 24% of the taxes. Again, there's a lot of different things we can talk about with actual dollars, right? If I have lower income or if I have very low income, $1,000 is a lot more impactful. And if I've got high income, then maybe even $10,000 isn't as impactful, right, to me personally. However, when we talk about the rich aren't paying their fair share, this graphic certainly doesn't support that data. And it's interesting, over on the right-hand side in the text box over here, they say that the top 1% pay the same share of federal taxes as the bottom 98%. I'm not sure what happened to the second 1%. It's not in the graphs here, right? But the top 1% and the bottom 98% each pay about 46% of our total taxes, right? So when you take a look at that perspective, you go, okay, should there be some tax reform? Should there be different things? There's a lot of evidence that could be the case. However, when you take a look at, tax, the rich people aren't paying a high share of their high tax rate. Like, that is not true. They're paying more than other folks, and they are not paying a high share of the income taxes paid. And those two things are factually true. And I just thought that's really interesting, right? Not what you hear often as you hear these tax debates go on. And as we get into tax season, we'll hear about more of that. So that's what I'm thinking. And as always, I'm interested in knowing what you're thinking. Drop a comment in the comment box. What do you think about where we are with the 1% paying, almost half the taxes in the United States, and how that works, and what your thoughts are on that. So, all right, as always, thanks for watching.